Joining us right now, the great Scott Garceau. What's going on, Scott?
How are you, Rob?
Doing well, my friend.
Anything in the news with you guys and the Hall of Fame voters? Haven't heard anything recently.
Pretty quiet year, Jeremy. Pretty quiet year.
Scott, how long have you been a Hall of Fame voter?
I think it's 22 or 23 years. I think I started in the 04 season. So,
Okay.
yeah, I got my 20-year plaque a couple of years ago. So I think this will be my 23rd, the next class.
I don't know if that's right. You told me you presented Curly Lambeau. That was a longer time ago than that.
I had to sell him hard, Jeremy. I had to sell him hard. Those George Halas people didn't like him one bit.
Scott, were you as surprised as the rest of us that Bill Belichick not only didn't get in, but wasn't even a finalist?
Well, he was a finalist. It's a strange process, Rob. And one of the things they ask us to do that they kind of straightened it out, and then they changed the system again 2 years ago. So we get down, other than the modern era players. So we have 15 modern era players when we get to the finalists, right? And then we have another 5, and that group is this year it was a contributor, Kraft. It was a coach, Belichick, and they're both picked by a 9-member committee that they go in and dig and do a lot of research, and they come up with their guy. A year ago, it was Mike Holmgren on the coach side. This year, it was Belichick. A year ago, it was Ralph Hay. Probably don't recognize that name. And I didn't know a lot about him, but Clark Judge did a great presentation, learned more. Well, Ralph Hay founded the NFL. He was the owner of the Canton Bulldogs, and he brought George Halas and a bunch of guys together. He sold automobiles. He had them sitting in the showroom. They had a meeting, and they formed the NFL. So he was the contributor a year ago, Kraft this year. And then there's 3 senior players. That committee comes up with 3 seniors, and this year that was Craig Anderson, Ken Anderson, the quarterback, and L.C. Greenwood, pretty good guy on that steel curtain defense. So they ask us in the end, after the presentations, to vote for 3 of those 5.
Okay.
So now, a year ago, I got Ralph Hay against some great former player. It's hard to distinguish a player versus a coach versus an owner. And when we get the 5, we vote for 3. And now you have to get 80% in that group. And this year, Roger Craig was the only one of the 3 players, Belichick and Kraft, to get to the 80%. Was I shocked that Belichick didn't get in? I wouldn't use the word shock. I was surprised. I'll go on record now. I did want to go on record before the vote because the Hall of Fame asks us not to go on record. And I know a lot of selectors did when the Belichick story broke, but I decided, hey, if they don't want us to tell our vote prior to the announcement, which was last night, I'm not going to announce. And then people were speculating, well, these 20 people said they voted for him. These 4 wrote that they didn't vote for him, so we're guessing that this one, all the speculation. But I voted for both Belichick, Kraft, and Craig. Those were the 3 I voted out of those 5.
Scott, you could probably guess my first question, but why do the voters hate wide receivers? Well, I mean, this is going on for years, and I know Larry Fitzgerald just got in. I mean, why didn't we put 5 in? I know that's a percentage that has to be reached, but it's like you have a log jam. Can't we figure something out to get a 5th in there when Suggs or Yanda or somebody's going to go in next year? Yeah,
you got 2 of them right now with Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt. They've been bumping heads to head. Steve Smith was a finalist one year. I think sometimes, Jeremy, they take votes away from each other, and when you're trying to get to 80%, until 2 years ago, when we got down to the final 5, those 5 were pretty much a slam dunk to get in because at that point they passed out a ballot that said Jeremy Kahn, yes or no.
No.
We'd fill that one out, and then they'd pass out Rob Long. And I voted for Rob every time. I thought that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But you thought it was like Survivor. It was kicking somebody off the island. That's what you thought.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what it is now. That's what it is now. And if you don't get that 80%, when you have 5 going for 3 spots, and there are 5 good ones, because when you get down to the finalists, there are going to be 5 good ones. And people would say, Yanda and Suggs have a strong case. I presented them. I think they have a real strong case. Okay. As a matter of fact, we had 18 players on the ballot this year among the finalists. Only one of the 18 was a unanimous all-decade pick. Guess who that was? Marshal Yanda. Yeah. And we have the Suggs stat. Was he 8th all-time in sacks?
Yes.
The 7 in front of him are in the Hall of Fame. I think it's 4 behind them. They're all in the Hall of Fame. Strong cases. But who are you going to take out of those 4 that got in this year? In my mind, when I saw Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald, I said, well, they're 2 stand-up, sit-down, first-ballot Hall of Fame guys. And they were. Luke Kuechly got in this year, second year on the ballot, 5 times first-team All-Pro. Drew Brees was 1-time first-team All-Pro. Larry Fitzgerald, 1-time first-team All-Pro. I think Vinatieri, who got in, the greatest, clutchest kicker in the history of the game, he was a 3-time All-Pro. So, I mean, Luke Kuechly had a short career because of the concussions, but he was All-Pro 5 times and Pro Bowl 7 out of his 8 years. And I think every year he played, he had over 100 tackles. So there's not a thing I can find wrong with this year's class. Could we have put another class in that might have been, excuse me, just as good as the guys that got in? Pretty close. I think I looked of the 15 modern era players. I think 13 eventually at least will be in the Hall of Fame of the 15. So, and for Yanda and Suggs to make the final 7, that means the top 3 guys that were left this year, the top 3, only 3 made the final 7 that didn't get in. Yanda, Suggs, and Willie Anderson, the Bengals offensive tackle. So they're knocking on the door real strong. I'm hoping at least one of them breaks through next year and then maybe the year after the other.
Scott, before we let you go real quick, how tough, you have Terrell Suggs, you have Ray Lewis, you have those guys who have stats. How tough is it to sell a lineman? Even though Marshal Yanda has the resume, what do you use how do you make his career tangible?
Yeah, it is for sure. I think, Yanda, Suggs, if you had to ask me which one, that's a jump ball to me. It's close. But I told you, Yanda was the only guy in the group with those unanimous all-decade team. We, the Hall of Fame voters, vote on the all-decade team. So we said he's pretty special. I think there were 6 all-decade teams, 6 or 7 players, and it was like Brady, Aaron Donald, Adrian Peterson. They were all like, these guys are getting in. So he's in that group right there.
Yeah.
I had another stat. He went over 1,000 consecutive pass blocking snaps. It was almost 2 years without allowing not only a sack but a quarterback hit. So you try to bring out the Pro Bowls. I think Yanda was 2-time first-team All-Pro, but 5 other times he was second-team All-Pro. So you try to build that case, but it is a lot tougher. The wide receivers, we see them, the running backs, the quarterbacks, but not a lot of people are looking at the left guard every game. But Yanda's he's there, and I think within the next 2 years, hopefully, he gets his gold jacket.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see. Scott, one last thing. I was looking ahead at next year. It seems like Adrian Peterson and Rob Gronkowski should be locks. I don't like calling anybody that, but with their careers, what are your thoughts?
I'm not sure. There's strong cases. Big Ben's in there too. Roethlisberger.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think Ben's in that group with maybe Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan, who have maybe Hall of Fame cases. I don't know if they're first ballot guys. Peterson, I think, is probably the best of the bunch. Gronk, obviously, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, whether it's 1 year on the ballot or 3 years on the ballot. But, yeah, every year. I think the year after that, it's Brady and a crew coming in. So it's crowded. But the fact that Yanda and Suggs made the final 7, those 2 of only 3 guys that were right there in that final 7 that didn't get in last year, pushes them toward the top of the heap next year. And I'm hoping – it'd be awesome if they both get in next year, but I'd be happy to see one in next year and then maybe the other in the following year.
Scott, Tom Brady's not the all-decade regular season quarterback. He didn't make that one.
Is he going to get in? He deflated some footballs. Are they going to wait like 5 years and Belichick? They'll call it the dirty class. It'll be Brady, Belichick, and Kraft.
It'll just be the Patriots class. They make Gronk wait.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, thanks a lot, my friend.
Okay,
enjoy
guys,
the Super Bowl.
Good chatting.
Great to talk to you, man.
Good. All right, 410-583-1057. That's the
tell
number.
You the other day, he takes this stuff seriously,
yeah.
And I know he voted on all the people that deserved it. You may have a year where you're debating.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind he voted for Belichick. Come on, man. That's football.